Hi, wonderful to have you here. And, I'm just so looking forward to this discussion and learning from, the conversations we have. Just to, quickly welcome Vijay Raghavan, Head of Business Development, Hexaware Technologies, with, he looks at driving growth in the BFSI, healthcare, and pharma segments. And is based out of London and is has a very large portfolio building business across UK and Europe. Vijay, warm welcome to you again, and I'm so looking forward to this conversation.
I'm looking forward myself. Thank you, Kritika.
Yeah, lovely. So, Vijay, as we get into this conversation on, rewiring enterprise value, the new role of GCCs, right? And I'm sure, while I'm talking to you, I'm speaking to the, preaching to the choir, but we're seeing how GCCs are undergoing a remarkable transformation from traditional support hubs to strategic engines of innovation and enterprise value, right? And this shift reflects a broader industry trends where GCCs are no longer just about operational efficiency, but driving business outcomes through technology, talent, agility, right? And I'm sure you're in the middle of all of this that is happening, and would love to hear from you on how you see GCCs moving from cost focused engines to strategic value creators. What mindset, what structural changes that you see are truly non-negotiable, and where do you see the biggest gaps between intent and execution in this transformation, Vijay?
Fundamentally, I think GCCs need to think of themselves as value creators and enablers of transformation, more than just low-cost operation centers. As easy as it might sound, the shift defines everything that the GCC goes about delivering and how it goes about doing just that. It forces the leadership to drive a structural change that enables GCCs to become value creators and true hubs of innovation. So structurally, GCCs need to align more closely with their enterprise strategy, focus on driving differentiation for them and outcomes that are material to their businesses rather than just being tactical operation centers focused on delivering cost arbitrage gains. One way, according to me and according to Hexaware, is for GCCs to adopt, embrace, and master technologies that are disrupting the business. Example, AI-led operations to become agents of change and transformation and lead the way for their business. Now, in doing so, this in turn would mean that GCCs would have to embrace new ways of working. They'll have to go about embedding AI into their operations workflows. They'll have to also build cross-functional teams that are agile, they're product-minded, and can rapidly succeed, and more importantly, rapidly fail and learn in the process. But at all times, embrace a new target operating model that reflects modern delivery methodologies and paradigms. Bring with them a very deep understanding of their business context and what can truly drive transformation for the business.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
There is a fair degree of awareness in organizations globally to do this. There are, however, fundamental challenges that needs addressing. And to help organizations out, we came up with our dual engine model. This combines our SMC squares build muscle with our automation brain. And we hope that this will help GCCs in doing some important things across their operations. First is to break down the operating silos, right? Break down silos, you expand the spectrum of value that you can deliver to the business. Then you bring in models and framework that will help you drive innovation and, more importantly, embed innovation into your operations, into your ways of working. It will also help you scale beyond pilots, right? Scale these
Yeah.
innovation ideas beyond pilots. Lastly, we bring in a talent strategy that will help you source the right talent, as well as identify the right technology and processes to adopt that are relevant for your business.
Hmm, hmm.
These need to be in sync with market dynamics for business and also help GCCs recruit and scale talents in new areas, especially, right?
Yeah.
AI, cloud, automation.
Yeah.
So in many ways, what you asked is a very relevant question, right? In many ways, not doing some of these right, we see is the fundamental gap today that manifests as gaps in intent versus execution. And these are things that we try and address from day one when we go helping our clients.
Right. 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 No, very interesting. And so, Vijay, that leads me to saying, we talked about AI embedded, right? Cloud data. You also talked about, pilots that are scalable and business aligned impact, right? Is there, an example that you can, share with us where tech integration directly shaped enterprise outcomes or customer value? Just interested to just a little deeper understand that with an example.
That's a fair question, and let me also underline the fact that it takes quite a bit to
Hmm.
move from tech to scalable business aligned ideas that can continuously add value to the business, right? To scale the impact of technology across business, we believe we need at a minimum three critical ingredients, maybe a fourth ecosystem ingredient as well that I'll talk about, and then I'll answer the question that you asked about where is it that we've added value. First is you need technology platforms. These technology platforms are foundations for driving change rapidly. They would become the enterprise standard to enable change and become transformation agents for the GCC to actually drive change through their business. Generally, they're built on modern technology principles and architectures. They help you drive change and transformation at pace. For instance, engineering platforms that help you drive software engineering 10x faster, right? Things that help you modernize legacy in weeks and months at pace, because most organizations have legacy in the back end that they're trying to grapple
Hmm.
with when they come up with new innovative business ideas. Others that help you use AI and data to drive efficient operations. See, over years, we've built these platforms under our RapidX, Amaze, and Tensai suite.
Hmm.
But CCs would need either these or something similar
Yeah.
to help drive transformation at pace, and they need to do this fairly soon when they set themselves up.
Hmm.
Secondly, and this is very important, secondly, you need a workforce that is context aware
Hmm.
of the business that they're delivering to, and very importantly, are incentivized and fully empowered to be innovative.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
apply technology, you've set up the foundations, but they need to be empowered to apply new tech and operations principles to their business challenges.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And third, as leaders, you need to help set up a framework that drives continuous innovation, both top down as well as bottom up innovation needs to be continuous. We've innovated that. We've come up with something called digital traction model, but something of that sort, of that scale and credibility needs to be set up within GCCs to actually drive that. I said there's a fourth lever, and this can be a fantastic lever for driving innovation and growth. Is that of the ecosystem? We
Hmm.
often operate in an ecosystem of products and partners who are like-minded in terms of where they are and where they operate in,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they can be used to drive value to your business and be part of an innovation ecosystem that can be highly leveraged for your, to bring about differentiation for your business. For example, hyperscalers or domain partners who are co-invested in building that innovative ideas and innovative business context that can drive turnkey solutions for our industry. We brought all of this together. For example, we service a number of global financial clients, and for them, we are quite key in helping them with their critical business processes. This could be KYC, credit card operations. So over the years, what we've done is we have brought in a number of tech integrations, new ideas, innovative ways of working, integrated them with their standard processes, and this has seen them across clients, across business processes, drive operations efficiencies in excess of 35%. We've halved the time to onboard new clients. We've helped them streamline compliance. All of these are direct, tangible, measurable outcomes which are, made possible because of applying technology in the right manner. Hope that answered what you're looking for, Kritika.
No, no, absolutely right. I mean, very, very beautifully laid out, actually, Vijay, four pieces, tech platforms, workforce, fully empowered workforce, right? Setting up of frameworks from a leadership perspective, ecosystem, value to business, products, partners. I think the way you just framed it all, very, very, very nice. Um, that takes me to my next next question, in terms of uh, with roles, AI, of course, we talked about tech changing so fast, but with that comes roles evolving faster than ever. And how are you seeing GCCs building a workforce that are not only technically skilled, but also diverse, agile, and continuously learning, right? What practices are you seeing emerging to keep talent future ready, in this very fast changing tech landscape, right? I know you talked about workforce and being fully empowered, but just a little more on that would be very interesting.
Good. Quite a few questions in that. I'll try and answer all of them
Yeah.
in one go. A few parts to that answer, right? Firstly, you touched upon the topic of diversity. We think diversity is an organization commitment.
Hmm.
Every aspect of workforce design, planning, policies, operation setup, recognition needs to be done for building a diverse and an inclusive workforce. I think the benefits of doing that are here to see for everyone. Driving diversity and inclusion for most large organizations, including Hexaware, as well as the GCCs we're helping set up, is follows setting up policies that focuses on bringing this about across the employee life cycle,
Hmm.
starting with not just starting with hiring across genders, ethnicities, regions, but also go beyond traditional hiring channels to build a diverse workforce. HR policies and our HR policies as well are sensitive to needs of a diverse workforce as well. You need to kind of champion that in the first place, right? Champion an inclusive workplace,
Yeah.
celebrate diversity not just once a year, but celebrate it at all times. You know, organizations are actively engaging in introducing professionals re-entering the workforce after a break, right? Could be for professional reasons that you've taken a break, or could be for personal reasons, right? Women planning for career breaks. This is a case in point in encouraging an inclusive workplace, that understands and appreciates the need
Hmm.
of,
Hmm.
of, of a diverse workforce. So that's how you bring about diversity, and that's something that we are seeing actively across organizations as well as ourselves in being able to, deliver that to our employees. The second is building a learning organization, and this is more of a long-term commitment and more of an operational tenet for organizations to do it well. We've done it very successfully, and we also see GCCs actively adopting a continuous learning framework. This involves setting up learning and development units within large organizations, engaging in partnership with academic institutions, also with online platforms, learning academies, as well as setting up those internally that, in the organizations or in the organizational context that they're in. We do all of this under the banner of Hexavarsity. That's our in-house varsity. The best practices of which we take to our clients who are looking to set up GCCs. But something of this nature in terms of learning and development is also reflected in workforce design, team
Hmm.
setups, rewards and recognitions. All of them have a very, very strong focus on L&D, right? This is driven across the breadth of the workforce. And to do this successfully, we see firms who are able to integrate this as part of the organizational's cultural fabric, right? A continuous development culture, as we call it, needs to be embedded as part of the organization, and you need to make employees passionately follow that as part of their everyday.
Hmm.
Now, if you do this right, that then pretty much everything from induction program for freshers, all of them have this strong foundational skill development and importantly, cultural alignment to these ways of working so that the organization is set up right at every stage to reflect these ethos and these practices.
Hmm.
And we also see GCCs doing that. They're also doing, they're not, they are, we encourage them to do that, but we're also seeing that in the market these days.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Now, this ensures both cultural alignment, but if done right, will also bring about an agile mindset. And this agile mindset will encourage employees to stay abreast of the latest and greatest in technology, the best of what's happening in their business, train themselves up on the new
Right.
technologies such as AI. Uh, it'll help them keep learning. It'll help them keep learning and keep applying it to the business context that they're operating in so that
Yeah.
they can make real tangible impact to their business and do that continuously over time and be innovative and then drive incremental value to the business.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So our GCC engagements, just to underline, does all of this. We
Right.
do every setup, domain training, performance management. Just make sure that talent is not just skilled, but
Yeah.
adaptable and aligned to goals of their enterprise.
Right. Right. You know, so wonderful. Um, Vijay, that's from a culture building perspective and from a future ready talent. I think those were some really excellent inputs that you shared with us. That also then we also talked about in our previous question thing we also talked about partnerships and strategic partnerships, right, which are emerging as a core lever for innovation and speed. How do you see these partnerships panning out, and from an overall co-creation perspective, what have you seen and what are you continuing to see and what do you expect to see, right, as you go forward?
Get a good question, Kritika. In my mind, a transactional partnership is one that focuses on using partner resources and consuming them to drive outcomes for your business. That's a straightforward transactional relationship. A co-creation partnership, on the other hand, emphasizes on joint value creation for both parties. In this case, the partner as well as for the organization that set up the GCC. This could be by way of co-creating assets, co-creating IPs that can be used not just the GCC across its operational entities globally and their businesses to gain competitive advantage, but it could be something that helps the partner build differentiating capabilities in their operational markets. It could be technology extensions that are relevant for specific micro verticals, or it could that the GCC might be operating in, or it could be something which is very specific to a geographic market. And these might be things that might help the partner actually drive differentiation in their operational markets and also build referenceability with the customer, with the GCC that is actually developing it. So it's a win-win relationship, and effective partnership needs management and commitment towards such win-win agreements with shared goals and shared objectives. Now, it can be part of the partnership vision when you actually sit down and discuss where do you want the partnership to go, what is it that it needs to comprise of, and where should it kind of be over a what are the partnership goals over a short, medium, and long term. You then work that out in terms of you distill that into a partnership vision, plan for that in terms of joint execution. You set yourself goals against goals and milestones against that, and KPIs to measure that measure mutual values and joint value creation that will be direct outcomes of such a partnership. Now, effective co-creation involves going after something of this, a vision of this nature with a single-minded pursuit for value creation for the business, for both businesses. And a lot of forward-looking organizations and GCCs we advise lean on partners who have the experience of having done this with other clients, who have the willingness to actually go the distance with them, and then be able to create that one team setup that can achieve these goals. So when we advise clients on GCCs, we advise our clients to approach it like a partnership. Even with us, we tend to advise them to approach it as a partnership and not just as a pure sourcing arrangement or a pure consulting agreement where we just come in and deliver to a set goals that have been contracted out. I'll give you an example. A recent partnership with a global sports brand led to a GCC build in 30 days. We scaled to over 200 employees, consolidated 7 vendors, but in the process also launched a number of new digital capabilities, all by virtue of creating a joint roadmap that would help the GCC drive tangible value across the business and tangible capabilities that it could leverage across the business, right? We've built out things called GCC as a service and BOT models that are our service offerings, but each of them are underpinned by this ethos of joint value creation, of this partnership approach on how we approach engagements. And all of these are designed to enable deep collaboration right from the get-go, right? Including joint governance, shared KPIs, integrated teams across geographies, open innovation platforms, reusable assets that we bring in and help customers co-create, all of that packaged together in our engagement setup. Hope that helps.
No, no, absolutely helps. And just one small thing I just wanted to ask you was, so in this whole thing of partnerships and everything that you're doing, right, and especially in the whole co-creation piece, where are there any conversations on IP happening in this whole speed of innovation thing? Where does, IP kind of figure out in any of these conversations, Vijay?
Again, it's a very relevant question. Organizations are keen to create IPs. They're very keen to create IPs because IPs help them gain a new competitive edge that they can take to market. It becomes a lever that they can monetize at some point of time. But they're also equally keen to jointly create IPs with partners. What they're a bit wary about is for IPs to become lock-in and ways in which they could tie themselves up in knots. That is not what any of our technology accelerators are meant to be.
Right,
So
right,
long as you bring in your IPs as accelerators
right,
and have no dependency for the organizations that you're working with on those to actually, lock them into you as a service provider or as a partner. They're very, very willing and open-minded to jointly create IPs, to leverage your IPs, because at the end of the day, we don't believe in IPs as being the hooks with which
right,
you pin organizations down,
right.
or you try and pin them down to a contract. But IP should be incentives on which you can drive value and you can co-create value for the enterprise.
Right, right. No, Vijay, thank you so much. This was a very, very good conversation, even for me, having moved into this role as well, from NASSCOM as part of the GCC initiative. I think this was a very, very, very good conversation, very depth conversation. So thank you so much. This was really helpful, and I'm sure our audiences will truly appreciate this conversation. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could help.